Films differ greatly in their sensitivity to light. Some require a lot of light to record an acceptable image, while others need much less. If your film receives the proper amount of light, the final image will be balanced in both color and tone. These pictures demonstrate that if the film gets too much light, the image will be light-toned and washed out. They are considered as overexposed, and if it gets too little light, the image will be dark and blurry, and they call this underexposed. To avoid overexposure or even underexposure, it is very important to understand how to use the two controls on your camera that adjusts the amount of light that reaches the film. These are the shutter speed and the aperture. The shutter speed determines the length of time that the shutter will remain open to let the light in.
Ang exposure ay when the light strikes or goes through your lens and finally strikes your film. That is technically an exposure. However, kailangan na i-control natin yung amount of light na papasok sa film natin at yung time na ina-allow natin na mag-strike yung light na yon sa ating film. So, paano natin kinokontrol to sa camera? Ito ay through the aperture at doon sa shutter speed. Dalawa itong control na they work in tandem, at ang ibig sabihin lang nun, yung pagkamaliit ang aperture na ginamit mo, konting light ang papasok. At dahil konting light lang yon, kailangan medyo matagal siya mag-strike sa film. Kaya, mas mababa naman yung shutter speed mo para tumagal siya. Dahil pag mababa ang shutter speed, medyo mabagal na bubukas at sasara yun. So, vice versa naman, kung malaki yung aperture gamitin natin, mas maraming ilaw papasok. So, mas konti yung time na dapat nandun sa pag-strike sa film. Kaya nga, ang tawag nila sa kombinasyon na to, yung harmonious working relationship ng parts ng camera na to at yung ilaw na minamanipulate natin ay exposure.
Setting of f8 and 1/125th of a second should result in an image with some of the moving elements having what we call as the pleasant blur. Since the faster the shutter speed, one can freeze the motion being recorded. Adjust the exposure accordingly depending on the effects that you need. On manually operated models, you must set the aperture and the shutter speed until the light meter indicator in the viewfinder shows proper exposure. In automatic cameras, you will have indicators that will show you the right exposure. And you have also the shutter priority automatics. This is when you set only the shutter speed and the camera automatically sets the aperture. And in the aperture priority automatic camera, this is when you will set the aperture of the camera and the camera sets the shutter speed automatically. Correct exposure and proper focusing are two of the main factors in creating a good photograph. The focusing device in the viewfinder of cameras are not all the same. Understanding depth of field. When we focus our camera on a subject, the area in acceptable sharp focus in front and in the back of the subject varies enormously depending on the size of the aperture. And this area wherein there is acceptable focus is what we call as depth of field. When the background is blurred and the foreground as well, and only a limited area where the subject matter is on is the only sharp area, then we can call this a shallow depth of field. When there is overall sharpness, we can say that there is a great depth of field, or what we consider as deep focus. The aperture is the most important consideration in determining depth of field. The smaller the aperture, the greater the depth of field. Let's look at the numbers in this aperture ring. It says here 1.4, 2, 2.8, 4, 5.6, 8, 11, 16, and 22. So the largest opening is 1.4 and the smallest opening is f22. Many cameras have a depth of field scale inscribed on the lens parallel next to the focusing ring. The scale has two lines of each aperture between f4 and f16. When you turn the focusing ring, the distances on the ring falling between those lines are in acceptable focus. If the focusing ring is set at f11, the depth of field actually extends from 7 feet to 20 feet.
Most cameras nowadays have very flat lenses, yung mga small lenses na tinatawag, which causes very low depths. No? Talagang nakikita mo nagfa-flatten na yung image. Sometimes you have a subject in the foreground and a very scenic background. Pagtingin mo sa editing room or pagdating mo sa dark room, parang nagme-merge lang sila, isang flat scene. Hindi mo makaka-capture talaga masyado yun kung using simple conventional cameras nowadays, no? Parang iba pa rin yung feeling. Siguro you also have to understand depth and what the lenses do to your image, no? So yun, cameras nyo ngayon somewhat longer, mas nakaka-capture ng depth. Pero very rin yan sa camera. So kapag meron kang maigsing lenses na or meron kang ordinary video camera or digital camera, you have to compensate for that limitation set by your camera before you can capture what you really want to capture na maganda.
Sometimes when we are taking pictures, we see pictures na halimbawa may clear na subject na yun yung pinaka-focus, tapos meron na blur doon sa likod ng image na yun. Ang tawag doon shallow focus. Tapos minsan naman may mga pictures tayo na ang klaro-klaro all throughout, mula doon sa pinakamalapit na image sa subject mo, sa camera mo, at doon sa pinakamalayo. Lahat klarong-klaro. Ang tawag natin doon, deep focus. Ngayon tong dalawang term, shallow focus, deep focus, may kinalaman to sa isang prinsipyo at technique sa photography na tinatawag na depth of field. Technically, yung depth of field, yun yung zone ng blurredness or ng pagka-focus ng isang image. Tapos, paano to nangyayari? Pagka kumuha kang picture, di ba, sinabi natin na merong part ng camera na nagko-control ng amount of light. Ito yung aperture. So, yung unang camera control dyan, yung aperture. At yung isa pang nakaka-affect dyan sa depth of field natin, yung distansya ng subject natin dun sa ating camera. So, minamanipulate mo ngayon yung distance ring ng camera mo at yung aperture ring. Tapos sa taas ng aperture ring or katabing-katabi niya, merong isang ring doon na mapapansin kayo na double yung numero. May dot sa gitna, tapos may double na 4, may double na 8, may double na 11. So, yung double number na yun na ring, depth of field ring yun, hindi siya gumagalaw. Tapos kadalasan sa totoo lang na nane-neglect natin ito, kahit na nga professional na cameraman, kahit ako madalas, nane-neglect ko yun. Pero may mga instance talaga na kailangan natin gamitin. Yung double numbers na yon, nagbibigay sila ng tinatawag na distance range. Kaya pag ginagamit natin yung technique ng depth of field, sinusukat muna natin yung distansya ng subject natin sa camera. Tapos, paano mo malalaman na yun yung distansya? Magkaklaro doon sa viewfinder mo yung image mo. Tapos, pag tinignan mo yon, may makikita ka na nagko-correspond na number sa distance focus ring mo na nakatapat doon sa dot ng mga double number na ring na yon. So, pagka in-extend mo yung dalawang number, mag-imagine ka ng line na nag-extend mula doon hanggang sa distance focus ring mo, yun yung range ng distance kung saan yung subject mo at yung mga elemento na katabi o nasa harap o likod ng subject mo, magiging clear ang focus or hindi. Kasi nga, sa totoo lang kasi, dahil yung mekanismo ng camera at saka ng pelikula, yung nakikita ng mata natin na ang akala natin klaro lahat, actually iba rin ang tingin ng camera natin. Pagka pumasok na yung prinsipyo ng depth of field. Ngayon, hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon natin ginagamit ang depth of field. Halimbawa, kung ang kukunan mo naman nakahilera lang, walang depth of field doon. Kasi isa lang ang distansya ng mga subject na nakahilera sa harap mo, dun sa camera mo. Pero pag yung kukunan mo, let's say, may puno sa likod, tapos may tao sa harap ng punong yon. So parang kumbaga hindi na sila pareho ng distansya. Doon lang papasok yung prinsipyo ng depth of field. At kailangan, tatanong mo sa sarili mo bilang photographer, alin ba ang gusto mong mas klaro? Yung puno sa likod? Di ibig sabihin galit ka sa subject mo. Or yung subject mo na nasa harap. Syempre, di ba yung subject mo ang importante. So, yun ang dapat na in focus. Tapos gagamitan mo yon ng tamang aperture setting na pareho yon ng double numbers na nandun sa depth of field ring mo. So, pagka yun ang makukuha mo, pag yun ang ginamit mo, makukuha mo yung klaro na picture ng subject mo. Tapos, pwede rin naman, hindi naman kailangan na palaging malayo. May mga subject ka na malapit. Or kung naalala nyo, pag nag-attend kayo ng mga kasal, di ba kinukunan kayo na ang liwa-liwanag, ang focus-focus ng image ninyo, tapos yung mga bulaklak sa likod nyo, ang mga tao sa likod nyo, blurred. Kasi kadalasan nga doon ginagamit ng mga photographers yung depth of field.
How the camera works. Siguro we should start I should start by saying na camera, forget about what is being said or what is being heard, na the camera is an extension of our eyes, no? Palaging ganun. If you read some literature or some technical books about the camera, about videography, photography, even motion picture filmmaking, merong mga nagsasabi na very recklessly na the camera is an extension of our eyes. That's not true. The camera is an objective eye. It actually limits the vision, our vision, no? Unlike our eyes na meron tayong periphery ng vision na almost 300 degrees all around, the camera limits that vision into 4 sides, no? Siguro maintindihan 'yon na although the camera tries to imitate what our eyes do, hindi niya pwedeng ma-capture yung buong potential na ginagawa ng eyes natin. Hindi niya pwedeng gawin yon. Doon pumapasok yung idea ng exposure. Kasi when we look at things na very bright, our eyes compensate, no, para hindi tayo masilaw. Pero the camera does not do that. You have to use yung exposure settings para mag-adjust na hindi too bright. Kasi kung too bright sa camera, ma-overexpose ka, mako-contralose ka, magsosolarize yung pictures mo. Kapag too dark naman, what our eyes does is our eyes try to compensate then for the darkness. Meron tayong period na nagsisettle yung eyes natin in a dark room, di ba? Pero the camera cannot do that. You have to control aperture, you have to control exposure pa rin para makakita siya sa mata, at yung limitations nung lente at yung tinatawag nilang luminance, no, yung crystal capturing device na.
It is necessary to study the language of light. Light is the photographer's medium. It is a must to understand the characteristics of light in order to create the desired photograph. Light is also responsible for the colors we see in photographs. The clear hues are important to attain. The change of values in black and white pictures is also dependent on how light hits the subject and the light that enters the camera. The other factors that we study under the subject matter of light are its source and its direction. It also affects mood, contrast, texture, and emphasizes the overall intention of the work. Our main source of light is the sun. In a day, the sun's light can change from soft, luminescent, or to blinding noontime, midday brilliance, to the orange rays of sunset at night, and the sun creates the almost black and white moonlight of the evening. These are the various changes that we see within a day. It will be good to go out and observe the differences in lighting condition. In photography, light is the source of color. Pure white light is composed of all the visible colors. The colors of each different wavelength form a rainbow spectrum ranging from violet to red. When light hits a surface, some colors are usually absorbed while the others are reflected. The colors that we and our cameras see are those that the surface reflects. All too often, however, we take the colors in a scene for granted as a given over which we have no control. Just as with other elements in the picture, it is possible to manipulate the effective color in your photographs by choosing the subject, the vantage point, and most importantly, the kind of light you employ. We and our camera perceive color as light bouncing off an object. As a result, colors depend entirely on light. But usually when we look at the object under different lighting conditions, we automatically make the necessary adjustments. If we know that the sky is white by day, we tend to see it as white, even if there is this slight tint of yellow or a slight tint of whatever hue. Or we see yellow with incandescent light at night. But if we train our eyes, we will be able to tell the difference as the camera does, so that we do some adjustments when necessary. At this point, let us look into the direction of light. As you begin to experiment with light, you soon become aware that the direction of the main source of light can greatly affect a photograph. There are three principal ways the subject can be lighted: from the front, from the back, and from the side. The illusion of three-dimensionality is far more convincingly achieved when the subject is lighted from one side. For most photographs, whether they are portraits, street scenes, or landscapes, side lighting is the most effective kind of illumination. Backlighting is sort of tricky, but it results in a very dramatic type of lighting. The subject turns into a silhouette.
When it comes to lighting naman, I have nothing against yung three-point lighting or other methods, no, of illuminating an area or a subject. Ang main ano ko dyan is it should add to the depth. Kasi nga, being the picture or the video being two-dimensional, kailangang tulungan siya para magkaroon ng depth, no? Yung foreground subject background relationship dapat meron yan eh. So lighting does that. Pero ang sa akin, ang pinaka-key sa akin is the presence of shadows. I believe na a good light should have shadows, no? It shouldn't your lighting should not try to eliminate shadows, kasi shadows are a natural part of life eh. Kapag wala talagang time of day, maski sa gabi, na pwede mong sabihin na wala kang shadow in real life, no? Unless pumasok ka sa isang kwarto na puro ilaw, no? Which I doubt na anyone will do that, diba? Parang wala ka naman papasukan dito na isang room na puro light na eliminate yung shadow. Even in this type of lighting, meron tayong shadow, although very very small, no? Yun yung inaano ko na, yung appearance ng shadows na lighting should try to enhance that shadows. Siguro, try to make the shadows unobtrusive para makita yung talagang yung profile ng subject or yung area to be pictured, no, to be photographed.
Study the different ways the light falls on your subject, depending on the time of the day and the quality of the skies. More details on lighting will be taken up under videography. Megapixel digital cameras are becoming more popular since its price in the market has gone down and it has become more affordable. We are now going to discuss how this technology captures visual images. Many experts have predicted that the digital camera will become as popular as the film-based 35mm cameras. This phenomenon can be seen now, especially with the growing demand on capturing still and moving visuals that can be processed right away through a computer. This new mode of capturing still visuals converts light into an image that can be stored on a computer. It is important to understand concepts such as sensors, conversion, storage, output, interface, compression, and resolution in order to know more of digital photography. This is part of becoming familiar with the medium by finding out how a digital camera works. So, it is necessary to know more about its features. The digital camera has a sensor that converts light into electrical charges. This is recording the image in digital form. The image sensor employed by most digital cameras is a charge-coupled device known as CCD. Some low-end cameras use complementary metal oxide semiconductor or CMOS technology. While CMOS sensors will almost certainly improve and become more popular in the future, they probably won't replace CCD sensors in higher-end digital cameras. The CCD is a collection of tiny light-sensitive diodes which convert photons, which means light, into electrons or electrical charge. These diodes are called photosites. In order to get a full color image, most sensors use filtering to look at the light in its three primary colors. Once all three colors have been recorded, they can be added together to create the full spectrum of colors that you've grown accustomed to seeing on computer monitors and color printers. Most digital cameras on the market today have an LCD screen, which means that you can view your picture right away. This is one of the great advantages of a digital camera. You get immediate feedback on what you capture. Some cameras have no LCD panel and instead use a simple optical viewfinder. Other cameras have both an LCD panel and an optical viewfinder, in which case you can turn off the LCD to save the battery. Some cameras have only an LCD panel. The LCD is often used as a viewfinder. It also allows you to review images in memory. You can then delete images that you don't like and take more pictures in their place. In line with making permanent the image, it is important to load the picture into your computer. There are several ways to store images in a camera and then transfer them to a computer. Many of the cameras today have removable storage device. The interface allows you to connect the camera to your computer directly. Once the images are on your computer, you can edit them, email them, load them on the website, or print them. Different ways to move images from the camera to the computer. USB connection. A USB connection is a fast, easy way to download images. Serial connection. This is a slow way to download images, but works on almost any computer. In order to transfer the files from a flash memory device to your computer without using cables, you will need to have a drive or reader for your computer. These devices behave much like floppy drives and are inexpensive to buy. The photographs that you take will have to be stored. To be able to store the images, memory has to be used. What are the types of storage devices available?
Limitations nung lente at yung tinatawag nilang luminance, no, yung crystal capturing device na CCD na tinatawag, merong range of limitations yan na the camera can only capture. Some cameras, some high-end cameras can capture zero lux na tinatawag, walang light source talaga, pero it uses a different technology of infrared sensing. Pero yung mga regular cameras that we can find in the market, ang luminance range niyan is 2 to 3 candelas, no? Meaning yung light source na coming from 2 or 3 candles, hanggang dun lang ang kaya niya. Kapag you go below that number, hindi niya na makakapture. So siguro ganun, maintindihan natin yung limitations. At the same time, yung pagtingin yung sa eyes natin, sometimes you see the picture in your eyes, no? As you view a scene or a subject, nakikita mo na parang ang ganda-ganda, pero once you take a picture or a video, parang you don't really capture the essence of it. The problem is whatever you say, no, even if it's video, even if it's film, the images you will capture will always remain two-dimensional, no? Yung pagiging two-dimensional na yun, na very limited siya doon sa height at saka doon sa width, yun yung nagsiset ng talagang malaking difference na hindi nga ako naniniwala sa sinasabi ng Intel at saka ng Kodak na anyone can take good pictures eh. That's not true kasi, or anyone can make videos or films na, no, these days with the use of technology. Unless you understand really that concept na meron pa rin talagang limitations in the capturing of an image or a scene na you don't fully understand or fully recognize, hindi mo makukuha yung gusto mong magandang shot or yung gusto mong magandang subject. No?
The highest image quality will be obtained if the image is taken with high quality lens with the CCD feature and stored in an uncompressed format. This means that the color of each pixel is recorded exactly as the camera saw it. In general, the highest resolution will produce the best quality image.